The Galactic Union was made of hundreds of alien species. They had lived among the stars for thousands of years. Some were peaceful, others were strong. But all of them agreed on one thing: humans were strange. Humans had only joined the Union 50 years ago, but they still kept to themselves. They didn't share much. They didn't ask for help, and worst of all, they didn't brag. That made the other species suspicious. After all, humans came from a death world, a planet full of danger, wild weather, strong gravity, and aggressive animals. Yet the humans never spoke proudly about it. One day, a powerful warrior species called the Gralkin made a challenge. "We will send 2,000 of our finest warriors," they said, "along with fighters from other strong races. Together, we will land on Earth's most dangerous region and prove that humans are nothing special." They called this place the Red Zone. No human lived there. It was closed off, surrounded by satellites and drones. The only thing people knew was this: the Red Zone had once been a testing ground during Earth's last Great War. And then, one day, all contact with the zone was lost. Earth sealed it off and never spoke of it again. The Galactic Union laughed at the mystery. They thought humans were hiding weakness, not power. So the challenge was made. The Union approved it. Ships were prepared. News was spread across the galaxy. Billions watched the broadcast live. It was like a show, a grand test of skill, bravery, and survival. The humans gave permission. They didn't stop the mission. They only said one thing to the 2,000 warriors preparing to land: good luck. The Death Worlders came from many races. All of them were powerful. All of them had survived the harshest places in the galaxy. They had battled lava seas, ice storms, and giant beasts. Their muscles were like steel. Their minds were trained for war. Their armor was top level. Their weapons could melt stone. The leader of the force was Commander Rahl, a Gralkin veteran with golden armor and glowing eyes. He stood proudly on the drop ship as it flew over Earth's skies. "This is just a jungle," he said. "We'll be in and out in 5 days." As the ships reached the border of the Red Zone, Earth's drones stepped aside. The landing path opened. It was time. The 2,000 Death Worlders jumped from their ships, landing in perfect formation. Their boots hit the soil with thunder. They looked around. The zone was filled with tall trees, strange red plants, and thick mist. It didn't look very dangerous. Some laughed. Some mocked humans. Some even removed their helmets. "It's just Earth trying to scare us," one said. "We've walked through fire. What's a little fog?" But then the mist grew thicker. The air changed. One of the soldiers checked his scanner. "Sir, the air has particles I don't recognize." Another soldier spoke, his voice calm but curious. "There's movement, but I see nothing. No animals, no wind, just something." Commander Rahl raised a hand. "Stay sharp. Move forward." The army walked deeper into the Red Zone. After 1 hour, they lost contact with 2 teams. The command center thought it was a glitch. After all, their tech was strong. The teams would return. But they didn't. By the 2nd hour, another team was missing. By the 3rd, the jungle began to shift. Trees moved slightly. The plants seemed closer than before. And then it began to rain. Not normal rain. Black droplets, thick like oil. The warriors sealed their suits. But one who was too slow screamed as the liquid touched his skin. "It burns," he cried. "It's alive." Panic grew. Some fired their weapons into the trees. The blast echoed, but the jungle didn't react. Then they heard a sound, not from outside, but from inside their helmets. Whispers. Strange voices spoke in unknown languages. Some warriors pulled off their helmets, screaming. Others fell to their knees, crying or laughing like madmen. Commander Rahl called for order. "This is psychological warfare. Focus." But he knew this was not a simple mission. Back in space, Union ships watched the live feeds, but the feeds started cutting off. One by one, the signals vanished. The Union leaders asked the humans, "What is happening down there?" The human leaders simply replied, "You wanted to test the Red Zone. You're in it now." As night fell in the Red Zone, the Death Worlders lit fires and built camps. But no one rested. Their strongest weapons were useless. Their tech was glitching. Their minds were unsure. Commander Rahl looked at the glowing sky and whispered to himself, "What have we walked into?" Only 12 hours had passed, and already 50 soldiers were missing. More were losing their minds, but the real terror hadn't even begun. The night inside the red zone was not like other nights. The stars above were dim, and the sky glowed with red and green lights. Strange shapes moved across the horizon, but no one could tell if they were real or illusions. Commander Rahl sat in the center of the camp. His armor was stained from the black rain, and his face showed worry. Round him, many warriors tried to rest, but few could sleep. The jungle was quiet to quiet, and that silence was more terrifying than noise. Suddenly, a sharp scream broke the stillness. Everyone stood at once, weapons raised. A scout from the Zarthan species was found shaking near the edge of camp, his eyes wide with fear. "They're watching us," he shouted. I saw eyes, hundreds of eyes. 2 soldiers ran to him, trying to calm him, but his body was cold. His heart stopped beating just moments later. No injury, no poison, just fear. Commander Rahl clenched his fists. This was not a simple mission anymore. "Pack up. We move now," he ordered. The army marched deeper into the jungle. The fog grew heavier. Trees looked like twisted hands. Red vines wrapped around trunks and pulsed like living veins. Some warriors began to speak to things no one else could see. Others claimed they heard voices calling their names. One fighter from the beast world Kragan walked off the path and disappeared into the fog. He didn't scream. He didn't run. He just vanished. Commander Rahl ordered all squads to stay close. But discipline was breaking down. By midday, they reached a strange field filled with glowing stones. The stones floated in the air, spinning slowly. A few warriors approached them with curiosity. "Maybe this is the power source," one said. He touched the stone. At once, the stone flashed blue. The soldier dropped to the ground, shaking violently. His body turned stiff. Within seconds, he turned into ash. Nothing remained except his armor. The rest stepped back in fear. "This place is cursed," whispered Agarkan soldier. Commander Rahl's voice was firm. "No, it's not cursed. It's built. Someone made this." "But who?" someone asked. No one answered. Later, as they continued, they found something strange, metal pieces sticking from the ground, a buried structure, a door, half covered by vines and dust. The tech experts cleared it. The door opened with a hiss. Inside was darkness, and old lights flickered. "This is human," one technician said. "Very old, from their last war." They went inside. The walls were metal. The symbols were in Earth's language. On one wall, someone had written in red paint, "We warn you. This place does not forget." Another message said, "It learns, it remembers, it evolves." The deeper they went, the more they saw signs of a lab. Broken glass tubes, control panels, strange machines. One room had skeletons, all in human uniforms. They had died with weapons in their hands. "Looks like they fought something. But what?" a soldier asked. In the deepest room, they found a single video file still working. They played it. A human scientist appeared on screen. He looked tired, with dirt on his face. "To whoever finds this, we tried to control it. We thought we could make a living weapon, something that could defend Earth forever. But we were wrong." He looked over his shoulder. Something banged on a metal door behind him. "If this place is still active, leave. Don't wake it up." The video ended. The soldiers looked at each other in silence. Commander Rahl turned away. "This is old human fear. It's not our concern," he said. But even he sounded unsure. They left the structure and moved on. But now, something was following them. First, it was footsteps in the distance. Then, shadows moved just beyond the trees. Once, a soldier swore he saw a tall black figure staring at him, but when he blinked, it was gone. By nightfall, 20 more were missing. They made another camp, this time with energy barriers. Traps were set, drones were placed around the area. But during the night, the drones vanished, the traps were found melted, and one squad was found dead. No wounds, no signs of struggle. Just gone at sunrise. Only 1,300 warriors remained. Almost 700 were lost in just one day. Commander Rahl gathered the group. This is no test. This is survival, he said. We either escape or we die here. But how do we escape? One asked. Even our ships won't come near the zone now. That was true. Communications had failed. The orbiting ships above Earth had lost all signal from inside the red zone. The warriors were alone. Suddenly, a voice spoke from the trees. You should not be here. Everyone turned. An old human woman stepped out of the jungle. She wore simple clothes, had gray hair, and her eyes were calm. I told them not to come, she said softly. Now the zone is awake again. Who are you? Commander Rahl asked. I'm one of the last keepers. I stayed to make sure this place sleeps. But now it's awake, and it's hungry. She looked at the frightened warriors. Only a few of you will make it out. If you want to live, don't fight it. Learn to listen. Then she walked back into the trees and vanished. Commander Rahl looked around at the silent jungle. He finally understood. This was not just a place, it was a being. It had a mind, and it had just started playing. The red zone was now awake. Commander Rahl stood at the edge of a broken hill, staring down into the thick jungle mist. His once proud army had shrunk. Only around 1,200 soldiers remained. Their gear was damaged. Their minds were shaken. The bravest warriors were now silent and cautious. The words of the old human woman echoed in Rahl's mind. If you want to live, don't fight it. Learn to listen. But what did that mean? That morning, 3 squads were sent to scout. Only one returned. The survivors told strange stories about trees that moved when no one watched, about fog that shaped into faces, and about footsteps behind them with no one there. One warrior said, I fired at a shadow. My bullet returned and hit my arm. The medics tried to treat wounds, but some injuries did not heal. Flesh turned pale. Blood turned cold. Some began coughing dark smoke. Commander Rahl made a new plan. We moved north. The zone must end somewhere. Keep quiet. No more shouting. Stay close. The army moved again. But the red zone did not let them go peacefully. As they walked, the ground under one squad suddenly collapsed. A deep pit opened, swallowing 20 warriors. Screams echoed, then silence when drones looked inside the hole. It was empty. Not even bones remained. In another part, the plant started growing rapidly. Thick vines wrapped around legs and weapons. Soldiers fired, but the vines were too fast. Some were pulled into the trees, never seen again. One medic whispered, It's not just alive. It's learning. It knows how we move. Commander Rahl finally understood. The red zone was not a place. It was a living system, a thinking jungle. It watched, it adapted, and now it was hunting them. One by one. Later that day, the soldiers came across a strange sight, an old battlefield full of rusted human tanks and broken machines. The metal was covered in moss, but it was clearly human technology. One tank still had power. Its screen blinked with a warning. Do not stay after dark. The message repeated in 10 languages. But it was already late. The sky turned orange. The second night was coming. Commander Rahl ordered the soldiers to make camp again. But this time, no one slept. Just after midnight, it started. Screams, blinding lights, sudden cold. One corner of the camp fell into confusion. Energy shields flickered. Weapons jammed. Shadows moved like smoke between trees. And then, something came out of the fog. No one saw it clearly. It was fast, tall, and made no sound. One by one, it pulled soldiers into the mist. They fired blindly, but it was gone before bullets hit. Another group saw large insect-like creatures crawling from the ground. Their bodies were part metal, part flesh. They swarmed silently, tearing through the camp's edge. Commander Rahl shouted, Fall back. Use the high ground. The survivors climbed a hill. From there, they watched as the camp below was swallowed by the jungle. The fire, the tents, the fallen, all disappeared into the earth. By morning, only 700 soldiers remained. Nearly two-thirds were gone. Some wanted to give up, others began to cry. One large warrior from the ice world Torgon sat down and whispered, "I fought monsters on frozen moons, but I've never felt fear like this." Commander Rahl stood before the broken group. "We are not here to win anymore," he said. "We are here to survive." He looked at the jungle around them. "This place is not a battlefield. It is a test, not of strength, but of understanding." Suddenly, a small drone flew overhead. It belonged to the Union ship orbiting above Earth. Somehow, it had reconnected briefly. A message flashed, "Your signal is fading. Evac is impossible. Return to entry point." The soldiers groaned. Going back meant going deeper into the jungle again. But it was their only chance. One soldier asked, "But how? We don't even know where we are anymore." Then, a child's voice spoke behind them. "I know the way." They turned to see a small human girl. She looked about 10 years old. Her skin was pale, her clothes torn, but her eyes were calm. Commander Rahl asked, "Are you real?" She nodded. "Yes, I was born here. My parents were scientists. They stayed behind when the zone woke up years ago." She pointed north. "That way leads back to the start, but you must follow the rules." "What rules?" Rahl asked. She looked serious. "No fire, no shouting, no killing animals, and never walk alone." Commander Rahl paused, then nodded. "We'll follow." So the march began again, slower, quieter. The soldiers moved in tight groups. They avoided open fields. They listened to the sounds of the jungle. Sometimes the girl stopped them before danger. Sometimes she whispered warnings. They passed broken paths, half-eaten machines, and skeletons of those who failed before. But with each step, the zone seemed to calm. The trees stopped moving. The fog stayed thin. The sky grew brighter. For the first time, the soldiers felt a small hope. Commander Rahl looked back at the path they left behind. He knew it wasn't over. The zone had let them live for now. The sun shone weakly through the thick clouds above the red zone. The jungle had changed. The dangerous whispers had quieted, but the weight of fear still hung heavy over the survivors. Only 5 squads remained now, about 300 warriors left of the original 2,000. They moved cautiously, trusting the small human girl to lead them safely. She walked ahead without fear, stepping over roots and fallen leaves as if the jungle was her home, and she had a deep secret. Commander Rahl rode on a hovering platform beside the girl. His golden armor was scratched and dull. His eyes scanned every shadow. He had learned to listen to the jungle's rhythm. It was strange and alive in a way he never expected. "Tell me," Rahl said to the girl, "what is this place? Why does it fight us?" She looked up with serious eyes. "This is the heart of Earth's power," she said softly. "Long ago, humans built this zone as a defense to keep enemies away. They made it strong, alive. It's a weapon, but it's also a prison." Rahl frowned. "A prison for what?" "For something dangerous." She answered, "Something even humans fear." As they moved on, the group reached an old human settlement hidden deep in the jungle. The houses were broken and covered with vines, but some machines still hummed softly. Inside one building, they found a journal. Its pages were worn, but the writing was clear. The journal belonged to a scientist who had stayed behind to watch over the zone. It told stories of battles, experiments, and warnings. One page read, "The zone is alive. It can learn, grow, and decide who is friend or foe. It was created to protect Earth, but it does not forgive. It remembers every attack, every death." Another page spoke of a last hope. "Only those who understand the zone's heart can survive. Those who fight it will be destroyed. The zone is a teacher, not a battlefield." Commander Rahl showed the journal to his commanders. "We must change how we act," he said. "This is no longer about war. It is about respect." That night, the survivors camped quietly near a small river. The air was cool. The red mist that had haunted them before was gone. The human girl sat beside Rahl, staring into the fire. "Why do you trust us?" she asked quietly. Rahl smiled sadly. "We do not have much choice. We have lost too many already. She nodded. Then listen carefully. The zone can be kind if you show you mean no harm. Suddenly, the jungle around them moved gently, leaves brushed softly, and animals appeared from the shadows. Small glowing birds, curious fox-like creatures, and giant turtles with armor like shells. The survivors watched in wonder. The zone was alive, but it was not always cruel. The next day, the group faced a final test. The path ahead was blocked by a huge wall of thick vines, pulsing. With red light, the human girl stepped forward. "This is the zone's heart," she said. "If we want to leave, we must enter." The warriors looked at the wall with fear. Many wanted to turn back, but Raul stepped forward. "We came this far. We will finish what we started." He raised his hand. The vines reacted, twisting and glowing. Brighter, Raul closed his eyes. He remembered the old woman's words, "Don't fight the zone. Learn its rhythm." He reached out slowly and touched the vines. At first, they burned like fire. But then, the pain faded. The vines pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. Raul moved his hand in slow circles. Following the rhythm of the vines, the wall began to part, one by one. The warriors stepped through the glowing gate. Beyond the vines, the jungle opened into a vast clearing. The sun shone bright, a calm breeze blew. The survivors looked back. The red zone stood quiet, waiting. The human girl smiled. "You have passed the test. The zone accepts you." Raul felt a deep respect for Earth and its strange power. "We were fools," he said to his commanders. "We thought we were the strongest, but Earth taught us humility." The 5 squads gathered together, their numbers smaller, but their spirits stronger. They prepared for the journey home. Back in orbit, the Galactic Union watched silently. The broadcast from inside the red zone was broken and confusing. Only the final moments showed the survivors leaving the zone. Many in the Union whispered fearfully. If Earth's red zone could defeat 2,000 of their best warriors, what other secrets did humans hide? On Earth, the 5 squads who returned were forever changed. They no longer saw humans as weak or strange. They saw them as guardians of a dangerous world. A world where only the strongest survived in harmony with their planet. The Death Worlders who had mocked humans now respected them deeply. And Commander Raul made a promise: the galaxy will know Earth is not a soft world. It is the true Death World, and its people are its greatest protectors. The 5 squads returned from the red zone, but only 5 warriors came out alive. Their bodies were tired and scarred, their minds heavy with memories no one else could understand. Commander Raul was among them. He walked slowly down the ramp of the landing ship, his golden armor dull and scratched. He looked at the faces waiting for answers, the Galactic Union leaders, the reporters, the other species who had watched this challenge with excitement. But Raul's heart was heavy. This was not a victory story. In a quiet hall, Raul stood before the leaders of the Union. They demanded answers. "What happened in the red zone?" a stern alien asked. Raul's voice was calm but firm. "The red zone is not just dangerous. It is alive. It watches, learns, and fights back. We came thinking humans were weak. We were wrong." He showed them the ancient journal and videos recovered from the zone. He told them about the jungle that moved, the invisible hunters, and the strange powers that made their technology useless. The zone was made by humans long ago. Raul continued. It was a weapon and a protector. Humans built it to keep their enemies out and maybe to keep something else inside. The leaders exchanged worried looks. They had underestimated Earth and its people. Outside the council hall, the 5 survivors gave interviews. They spoke about the human girl who led them, about the old woman who warned them, and about the lessons they learned. "Humans do not fight the zone," Raul said. "They listen to it. They respect it. They survive because they understand their world in ways we cannot." The story spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Many laughed at first, but the laughter died quickly. If Earth's red zone could stop 2,000 of the strongest warriors, what else was hidden on that planet? Over the next weeks, more strange facts came to light. Scientists found that Earth had many dangerous zones, not just the red zone. Some were frozen. wastelands with storms that could tear apart ships. Others were deep oceans filled with creatures that could swallow whole cities. Humans had survived all this for thousands of years. They had not only survived but thrived. The Galactic Union began to change how they saw humanity. No longer were humans weak or strange. They were the most dangerous species alive. Back on Earth, the 5 survivors prepared to leave. They no longer wanted to be enemies of this world. They wanted to learn from it. Commander Raul looked at the red soil and the dark forests. This world is not a place for the careless, he said. It is a place for the strong, the wise, and the patient. He turned to the human girl, who smiled quietly. We will return, he promised, not as conquerors, but as students. The story ended not with a battle, but with respect. The galaxy had been warned. Earth was a death world unlike any other, and humanity was its greatest guardian.